Hey, Bobby Manning here, and welcome to the Garden Report. Celtics win. Ime Udoka, win number 1. And the player he has to thank most for that win, by and far, was Al Horford, who is shown to be a valuable addition and perhaps the best trade addition, excluding sign and trade, in the NBA period through the first couple of games here. Missed the first one, obviously, with COVID, but some of the stats staggeringly show Horford through, I think, what anybody has seen so far with the Celtics here in these first two games, where he's put up a team-high plus 18 in the win tonight against the Rockets, as well as a competitive minus 7 in that bad loss to the Raptors, where the final score was 32. Horford, what sticks out to me most, 11 fouls drawn in 2 games. That's 5.5 a game, 15th in the league, and most of that work was done attacking mismatches, Rockets wings on the perimeter, post-ups, and just stepping through guys like Alperen Sengun, Jason Tate, even Eric Gordon getting caught up in a mismatch down low, and rings back to what Ime Udoka said in the preseason about how poorly Horford was utilized at that 4 spot, the wing spot, was Philadelphia, not able to attack those mismatches, but able to do it in a way that spurs movement with the Celtics and transition attacks. His pace that he has played with so far through the Celtics has been incredible. Not to mention 7 blocks in 2 games, which is among the league leaders, and not an area even I expected Horford to be impacting the Celtics with. So we're going to jump into some film on the Garden Report here and break down the width of impact that Horford brings to the Celtics. And this time around, I'm not hearing many complaints of average out, low-scoring games, and not meeting the $27 million demand that many fans had in the last incarnation of Horford. 9 free throw attempts, by the way, in tonight's win, the most for Horford since Game 5 against the Bucks. So let's talk about it. We're going to do this show. Is Horford the MVP of the Celtics through the first 2 games? I think there's a lot of evidence just by how many things he's bringing to this team. And I think fans are satisfied because they know all these things that Horford is doing through these 2 games are things the Celtics didn't do a year ago and badly need on the team this year. Only concern I have is that they're going to be overly reliant on Horford for these things. Press too hard because coming back from COVID, only 25 minutes against the Raptors, they fell apart when he wasn't in the game. And even here, in that fourth quarter, when the Celtics went up by 20 and pulled them from the game, things didn't go well. Ultimately, the starters need to come back and close this one out. But let's dive into the film. First, those mismatches that we're talking about here. The frustration, Eric Gordon shoving Horford out of bounds here, not loving the call. Horford almost got a LeBron James whistle in this game. It was incredible how much respect Horford was drawing from the officials, and that's probably part of the thinking of having an older team at this point, guys that are able to have that respect from officials. And Horford is emblematic of it as anybody that not complaining a ton maybe earns you a little bit more respect from the officials. Drawing a foul on Sengun here, it was a masterclass for Alperen Sengun watching Al Horford, a similar player, similar skill set, throw these elbow jabs at him, sidestep into the post, draw a touch foul right there. Here on offense, Horford utilizing his length on a switch on the perimeter. Sengun, dangerous in this area as a passer and a face-up player. Too worried about Horford in front of him. Throws a sloppy pass to his left for the turnover. Of course, the dagger in this game. With 3 minutes to go, Horford just stripping Kevin Porter at the 3-point line and actually racing ahead of Porter in transition here. And this is what sticks out to me as much as anything about Horford so far in his games with the Celtics, is that burst and transition that he's showing. He's either dribbling these defensive rebounds, steals, whatever, blocks into the offensive zone himself with great speed, or funneling off to other guys so quickly that it doesn't take any more than 2 to 3 seconds for the Celtics to get into their offense. And that's something Udoka talked about heavily in the preseason, and Horford showing more of an emphasis on the defensive boards to be that guy who grabs it and goes. That's almost the thinking the system that the Celtics have in place on the defensive end so they can get into their transition, fast break attack. We wrote about how dangerous Horford and Brown in particular can be that way on CLNS Media after opening night, and it was on full display here against the Rockets, who turned the ball over repeatedly throughout this game. This play, Sengun again trying to spin past Horford and actually gets him with the up fake, but Horford jabs out with the left hand, runs out ahead of everybody in transition, and finishes the basket. Celtics go ahead by 20 on this play late in the third quarter. That should have been the dagger. Horford shouldn't even need to come in for that other one in the fourth quarter, but the bench didn't get it done. Also, in the repertoire so far for Horford, pick and pop action. This play here, able to get some help from Grant Williams in the post. Jalen Green kind of got by him, and Horford shows out as a trailer here, actually pushing the three-point shot. A great look, didn't fall. I think he was 1 of 6 in this game, so the three-point shot not where Horford wants it to be so far, but gets a quality look here by running out in transition and feeding it to Jason Tatum in this spot. What I love about Horford too, obvious chemistry with Dennis Schroeder, who started at point guard in this one over Jaylen Brown with the injury. Gets his only 3 of the game to go here off a good double screen action. Rob slides into the post. Horford pops. Rob draws the pressure here, and of course Horford wide open for a 3. Dribbles down and ends up being his only one of the game, but Grant Williams filled in the production outside the arc. Horford here catching it like an interception. Cornerback action. Gets it quickly into the zone. Just 2 seconds, 3 seconds to get it through Pritchard. All the way to Grant Williams in the corner for a wide open look. Yeah, no more than 3 seconds of game time here in this transition look. Horford, transition maestro through 2 games with this team. And then, of course, the stuff he does inside the arc. Does some high screen action with Tatum. Gets a high post look. Short roll. Gets it to Grant for a wide open 3. That combination works so well for the Celtics in this one. The one area that doesn't remind me so much of Horford of old, finishing, especially around the basket so far, gets his lone finish, I believe, on this one. Pick and roll, gets behind the defense and finishes here. But other times we've seen him get out on the break, especially this one on the move, not able to set himself. This is another point-blank look right here where Horford maybe, with some speed, could have gotten an easy basket to go. Smart dishes it to him, sidesteps through Jalen Green. He hit a similar shot to this one against Toronto, but was way more set as he rolled into the lane. This one he back rims. Other plays, big block early on in this game. We talked about the shot blocking. Able to stay with guys on the perimeter. That's something Horford said he's comfortable with, and it didn't look like it early on in the preseason. But now at this point, he was able to switch on to a variety of different offensive players on the Rockets in this one and disrupt them at the rim. Just an outstanding performance from Al Horford, and it doesn't show in the shooting percentage. 4-12, 1 of 6 from 3, but 9 free throw attempts, just jamming himself into the lane, finding spots on the floor to get fouled, 10 rebounds to give this team some pace, as well as 3 steals and 3 blocks to open up 6 additional transition opportunities for the Celtics in this one. So we go to Toronto. Not the game anyone else wants to look back, but still 25 minutes of quality play from Horford, where you can see the same level of impact. And avenues for the Celtics before that breakdown that I wrote about in CLNS Media could have found their way back into this game and did, with Horford on this play, stepping out to block OG Anunoby. Gets the ball out to Tatum here, who lands an alley-oop to Jaylen Brown to get the score within 2. Now, by the end of this quarter, it's going to be a 20-point game as Jason Tatum gets called for a technical, and the Raptors run rampant in transition here. But you saw so much of the good early in this third quarter. More contesting action here. Horford looking good on the perimeter defending. Gets a long arm out on Scotty Barnes, forces a miss, gets the rebound, and gets it right to Payton Pritchard, who's going to run this across half court. And we also have Horford running out himself off the rebounds. Jaylen Brown gets the stop here. Horford gets the rebound, runs it right across half court, and gets the Celtics right into their offense. That's something Ime Udoka talked about today being a possibility for the Celtics. Horford actually being a point guard, per se, on certain sets. And then you still do have the occasional flash of that inside touch that made Horford so great early in his career, spinning through Gary Trent here on a mismatch, and the Celtics Offensively, the way they're structured, if they have these mismatches, they are going to attack in isolation. He gets it to go here for an and one. That could have really been a momentum-changing play in this game, and was, as the Celtics go within 2 after trailing by 9 at this point. So the best run that the Celtics played against the Raptors in an otherwise disgraceful game was with Horford running outlet passes, as well as just defending on the perimeter, being a key cog in that switching defense, and blocking shots, being an active perimeter defender as well as interior defender at this point in his career. The defense that Horford brings to the Celtics team is a godsend, and Jason Tatum talking after the win tonight, echoing what I and many others have just said over and over again to start this season. It looks like Al Horford never left.
Al, pick and pop and being able to make plays and getting out in transition. He looked kind of young today, but it's great to have that, those options.
So what's this mean? Horford's going to be an important contributor to this team, but age, I think, is ultimately going to limit the scale. Does he play in a back-to-back tomorrow against the Hornets as we record this? Still yet to be seen. He's continuing to recover from COVID-19. Might be a minutes management proposition for the next few weeks. But when he does play, and when he's fresh, if the Celtics can keep him that way after a season where he barely played with the Oklahoma City Thunder, Horford is still showing to be one of the best floor spacing, passing, interior and exterior defensive bigs in the league, who has the ability to play the 4 and the 5 for this team. The Celtics have managed him beautifully within the system that they're playing on defense and offense through 2 games, and Horford, to his part, has been more aggressive and more outspoken, talking about some of the things they need to fix in terms of getting caught up with misses on offense, and criticizing the team after the blowout loss to the Raptors and turning it around with the Celtics' first win under Ime Udoka over the Houston Rockets. Al Horford, one of the best additions of the NBA offseason, and a perfect fit for the new Celtics system. I'm Bobby Manning, CLNS Media, The Garn Report, and Celtics All Access. We'll see you live for Celtics Hornets coverage tonight on the Celtics postgame show.